Now, we love F words at Tall Trees. You already know this. Your report is full of words like fertilizer, frostbite, forces within, fields of greatness, fast forward, all these areas in which you can get to know yourself, work from your strengths, and also grow. Now, today is not an exception. I'm adding another F word, and it's the word firsts, because they show up and show off our personality like few other things do. It's predictable how you and I will feel about going first, doing something for the first time, and being first based on our personality type. This may help you as you work with people in a corporate setting, in marriage, and even in your home. And that is why this post today is tagged for your family DNA, your kids' DNA, your leadership DNA, because they apply, these truths we're going to share today apply to all of those areas of your life and your loved one's life and your colleague's life. Being first and going first means I need to feel prepared, I need to feel confident, and I need a little bit of a competitive part to my personality. Now, each one of the tree types has some of this and maybe lacking in some other areas. So let's unpack them a little bit. Starting with, for a change, the pine tree personality. Remember, this is our peace-loving, harmony seeker who thinks more than they speak and who observes even more than they think. So these are our quiet spectators sometimes. So you can already imagine that their competitive edge is just not there as much as with the other personality types. So it's not important to them to win. They don't need to be first, because if they are first, then somebody needs to lose, and they find no joy in that. They'd rather you go first. And that comes from a place of not always feeling prepared. They love to watch how it is done and then try in a safe environment so that they don't disappoint or make mistakes that have far-reaching consequences. And then when they are fully prepared and ready and they have an example, then they will go. But clearly that's not going first. So they don't need to be first. They don't need to go first. How do they approach something that is a first? They prepare. And they prepare in a very quiet way. They think. They consider all the options. They learn from the mistakes of others through observation, which is their key strength. And they soundboard with people close to them, like a mentor or a true friend. Because in all of their decisions, when they're going to do something for the first time, they want to cause no conflict, and they do not want to disappoint the people that they care about the most. Sorry, I see I'm a little bit out of focus. There's an F word for you. That's very important. And so our peace-loving pine trees will not go into something for the first time unless they feel prepared. The boxwoods are also preparers when it comes to first things. They like to do the homework. They do the research. If it's taking their child to school for the first time, they will probably drive the route, make sure there are no turns that they're not familiar with. They will time the trip to school to make sure they're not late on the first day. So super prepared. That gives the confidence to do something for the first time. If the first time doesn't work out well, it takes a lot for a boxwood to try it again. First time failure to them is devastating. And so the more insecure and the more ill-prepared they feel, the more likely they are to never do it again if it doesn't work out very well. So for them, building confidence through little steps and through proper research and proper preparation is going to be key. How competitive are they? How keen are they to go first? Not very. I have a lot of boxwood in me, and I still remember how upset I was that my last name was in the first half of the alphabet, but how relieved I was that it wasn't with an A, that it didn't start with an A, because in school, the kids whose last name started with an A always had to read their essay first, say their memory verse first and things like that. And I dodged that by a little bit. But the boxwood also doesn't want to go dead last. We do want to prove that we are competent. It is important for us to do well. And when doing well puts you first, then we are quite okay with that, especially when it comes to things like academic achievement. We want to be in the top 10. Maybe we want to be number 1 there if there's a little bit of rosebush in our mix. But the only time we want to be first is when that is synonymous with having done exceptionally well, because that perfectionism streak is definitely there. If you are raising a boxwood kid, answer all of their questions that they ask you when they are getting ready to do something for the first time. And if they don't land in first place, remember that it's not about beating others. It's not about standing on the stage to receive the accolades, because actually they don't like that at all. It's about doing well for them. That's what sometimes masquerade as a competitive spirit. Well, now let's get to those who are super confident to do things for the first time, and they are our palm trees and rose bushes. Rose bushes because they pretty much have confidence, period. Nothing scares them very much. They love to be first. They love to go first because they are pioneers by design, and first things do not scare them. They know that they can try again, and they know that if they put their minds to it, they can probably do it. So firsts are not a challenge for this personality type. Overconfidence is maybe the only downfall for them there, but then again, they are so resourceful to pick themselves up and go again. The palm trees have just so much optimism. So first things don't scare them because they don't think about what could go wrong on this bungee jump, or what could go wrong if I'm the first one to taste this unidentifiable object on this plate. They just, out of that place of optimism, believe that it'll be okay. It's probably delicious. This thing is probably safe. It's probably going to be the most fun I've ever had. So firsts are just energizing to them. It speaks to them. It calls to them. That is why they make so many mistakes before anybody else can make them. So they are our first offenders in the sense of the first ones to make a mistake, and we learn from their mistakes when we keep an eye on them so that we don't have to make them if we are not palm trees. They bounce back from first mistakes much easier than everybody else, so it's really okay for them to do that. So first things energize them. It piques their curiosity. They have enough confidence to go after it. They don't always need to be first. In fact, they like to win with others instead of just beating others.